right. Let me know when we got it.
We're live.
We're live. Hey, man. Charlie. Fade out music. And bam. Rock and roll.
Bam.
All
Hey,
right.
guys.
It is the 22nd of March, my 5/6th birthday. And I'm Chris.
I am Charlie.
And we are?
Hang on. Wait for it. 8-balling. Goddamn.
Yeah, we didn't ask a question
that.
last time. You want to get that out of the way?
Oh, I know. Oof. I feel like all the questions... No, last time it went out good. I said, is this going to be worse than we think it is? And I said, no. But we've been thinking it's pretty bad. We've been thinking shit's going to get pretty serious.
I got one. This is
Okay.
Russian roulette for me, but I'll do it.
Oof. Go ahead.
Will I see college football in the fall?
Oh. Will Chris see college football in the fall? Let's see. Yeah, good shake. Good amount of shake. Okay. Yes. Straight
Wow.
up.
Straight
Literally
up,
no
yes.
ambiguity. I wish I could show you. You see that?
Yeah, it was fast, and it wasn't... I can't.
Nope, can't do it.
I might be able to zoom in.
It's all right. You have to believe me.
It's too late.
I have a good one.
Okay, let's
We
do
can do
another
two.
one.
Okay, this one is more serious. So, if the 8-ball is spoken, then sorry, guys, but is it a good idea to keep loaded firearms around the house at this troubling time? My reply is no. Oh, but that could be for multiple reasons.
Hey,
Okay.
man.
I'll have to change up some
Can't
things.
argue with the 8-ball. We can talk about it later.
No, it's the 8-ball's right, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, fair enough.
What if you think it's a good idea to keep loaded firearms around your house all the time?
Like 20% of Americans. That seems low. What do you think it is?
That sounds about right.
5% of Americans. 20%? Yeah.
I
That
would,
sounds about right.
if you made me guess, I would have guessed probably 10%. Wild guess. I have no knowledge.
Well, I keep loaded firearms in the house.
As
But,
do
like,
other
why?
family
I live in
members, right?
Farmington Hills. No, I'm the only one, but whatever. You keep a loaded firearm in the house. That's two of two people on this show. I mean,
Yes.
100% right there.
I mean,
All the
interesting
information I need.
character. Socially liberal. Fiscally libertarian. I think the Second Amendment is arguable in its nature, but I can have a gun, so I have a bunch.
I'm gonna have one. Yeah, I'm gonna have a couple. Yeah.
Yeah.
That article that I sent you earlier. I sent Chris an article today that was more or less said the governor of Illinois declares that gun stores are essential right now, so they're not going to be closed. And I thought, hey, that's interesting. But
Well, you know, we've had this conversation, but it applied to immigration conversations. And we talked about when people get hungry, they become predators. And that could happen.
yeah,
You know what I thought of is, and I've really stayed away from the news. And I've stayed away from everything that's not like reruns and streaming. Right before we started, I started binge watching The Practice again. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a Boston lawyer show. But anyway, squirrel, where was I?
you
Didn't watch
things
the
are going to get scary
news.
because when people get hungry, they become predators.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so who knows what can happen? Who knows? But like I said to you earlier, you know, I'm kind of visible. I'm not going to be a victim. I'll be the crazy wheelchair guy. I'll buy two of those Bandito straps and have them like right here. Somebody comes to my
I
front
want you
door
to get,
knocking,
like,
or I go out of my driveway.
I want you
I'll
to
be-
get like a 1844, like a fucking, you know, it's like a lever action 20 gauge or something. That would be so cool.
I have a 100-year-old plus nickel-plated, wooden-handled Colt 45 single action revolver.
Oh, yeah.
That was my grandpa's.
Yeah, that's a fucking badass gun.
Have I showed that to
That's
you?
like, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've held
Okay.
it. I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because it has only the front sight on it. There's no rear sight.
There's a little recess.
Oh, like
in the
a
back.
ridge? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. There is a visual to line it up. I doubt it's
Okay.
very accurate, though.
Who cares when you're just shooting from the hip? Bam, bam.
You know, there was a
bam,
thing. Do you get the channel that's mostly World War II stuff?
I get Netflix.
Do you guys have
Amazon
a
Prime.
traditional cable box?
No, not anymore. We cut that.
There's a
shit.
channel that has lots of, it's almost all World War II and weapons and all that. And they did an entire hour on, not the revolver, but the semi-automatic Army issue Colt 45, which came out in something
Oh, yeah,
like,
the Kimber.
it was World War One.
1911.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. That's what was in my head. There you go.
It's because it's called the Colt 1911.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
your camera's doing funky stuff.
No, it's the light in the ceiling. I'm broke, so it jiggles. It's the most annoying thing. Yep. See, there it goes back on.
It is quite a night.
I don't know how to fix it. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Hey, I'm going to try to do one thing here. Bear with me.
Waiting. Da-da-da.
Didn't work. Okay. I was going to try to bring you in a little closer. Anyway, it was interesting that, functionally that thing didn't change other than improved manufacturing methods for like 50 years. And then after that, it changed very, very, very little.
My grandfather was issued one of those when he was lieutenant in the Army. I forget. Abananima. But when he left the service, they're selling those. I guess they're like $20 or something. They're just officer's edition. Colt 45, 1911.
Really?
Supposedly it's somewhere. It's around somewhere. Never seen that gun, and I think it's my birthright. I want it. But
Yeah, I had to talk my mom into giving me the Colt 45 because it was my grandpa's, her dad's. And
that's
he
so
had
cool.
this semi-infamous pearl-handled, like custom-made Colt that was one of very few. And it was like, I guess he belonged to the Detroit Gun Club. It was known locally and allegedly known nationally. And he was like, needed money and he sold it in, I don't know, as a younger man. And it was like one of his life's regrets. The super collectible.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah,
And he
that's
kept the
rough.
one that I got.
That shit
So.
is so cool. I love all that stuff.
Yeah, nostalgia's awesome.
There's
Even
oh, yeah,
non-gun
for sure.
nostalgia.
I mean, yeah, and all nostalgia really. Yeah, I'm just
Yep.
a fan of gun nostalgia. I have a bunch of my old grandpa's old guns. Those are great.
My mom, my grandpa was quite the sportsman. She has, well, when I was either 11 or 12 for Christmas, people are going to flip. I got 2 shotguns, and my brother got a shotgun and a rifle, and my brother totally manned out. He got, what's the Remington 20 gauge?
I have
The-
one of those. It's a I have a Winchester 1700.
It's a pump.
Remington 20 gauge is a not an 870. I don't think.
Very
I don't know what it's called.
collectible.
Maybe 1200.
That could
no, I
be.
have no idea. A 900.
Whatever. Very collectible, very cool gun. So he got a 20 gauge pump, and he got a Ruger 22 rifle, and I got 2 410s. I'm like, what the hell?
Two of the same caliber. Were they both single action break or no?
One was a single action break, one was a double barrel, but it had 2 triggers. It was a very odd
Side
gun.
by side.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so awesome. I want it. Now it's
But-
funny. You think like a side by side is plain, but they cost so much money nowadays. If you
Oh,
wanna buy,
really?
like, a nice one.
Yeah,
they're like nice guns. Yeah.
I should get it. I never shot the thing. Whatever.
I have a
it's
whole
just
case of 410
small.
if you want.
What would be more fun would be like a 410 revolver. I think they make them.
Yeah, they do. It's called a Raging Judge.
There you go.
Yeah,
raging
Taurus
judge.
makes it.
The show
Yeah.
has quite a different tone for people to be like,
Oh yeah, I
you
know.
guys
We
are
started
gun
off
guys?
weird. Sorry, guys.
No, no, no. I'm enjoying talking about it. We were like, let's talk about fun stuff. So,
Yeah, it is fun. Guns are fun. Excuse me. I apologize if I'm stepping on anybody's toes, but I don't have any whatever. I don't want to shoot anybody. I don't want to kill anyone. At the end of the day, even if you own guns for that reason, like you're telling people, yeah, it's for protection.
should I
You know,
retell the
like, I'm
hunting
taking
story?
care of-
Remember I put the
Yes.
hunting picture out when we were saying we should put a new picture out? Should I show the
Yeah,
picture
the
and
hunting picture of
Chris
the
the
bird
Killer?
that isn't yours, or is that my dad? Oh,
No, it's
but that's my dad's picture.
so this is me. Chris the ruthless bloodthirsty bird killer. So
God,
there you
killed.
go. So here's something interesting for people to know. And I think I'm highly in the minority, but I like guns. I think they're very cool toys. I think they're fun to shoot. Back before I got hurt, shooting skeet and trap was a total blast. And target shooting is still fun. I always thought was just like, for me, not generally speaking, but for me, didn't care for hunting. And always made the argument of, well, whatever. So if I were going to argue with hunters, I figured I should go hunting. You know, if somebody asked a question, well, have you ever done it? I think arguing from an informed standpoint is always a good thing. So I went bird hunting, and I'll spare people the details. So I shot a bird, and the whole process convinced me further that I didn't want to hunt anymore. And the reason being is when I pulled the trigger and the bird literally fell from the sky, like went from flying to a vertical drop, it was a total rush. Killing something was a total rush. And I was like, okay, now I never want to do this again. When killing thrills you, I'm like, okay, now I'm out. Now I'm really out.
That's interesting. I see what you're saying. You're like this is slippery slope type thinking. Yeah.
A little bit of that, a little bit of life's precious. And ever since I had my accident, I have just thought even more so, life is precious, all life. And I went hunting for fun, just for fun. And the birds got dressed out and came home and went in the freezer. So I could say, well, we ate them. But we went up there to have fun.
That's actually the most important part. Honey.
Have fun and shoot birds. Make no mistake. And most people around here who drive up north and shoot deer, they're not doing it because it's economical meat. I hate that argument. Just say I like doing it, and I'll leave you alone. But then when the guy's like, well, I eat the meat and blah, blah, blah. So I got a cabin. How much does that cost you? You got a truck instead of a car. How much does that cost you? How much in gas? And on and on and on. So let's figure out the real price per pound of your deer. And then have a conversation. Well, it's not. Okay. We're done.
It's more
if
fun.
it-
I have no doubt.
Yeah, if somebody's like, I love doing it. It controls the herd population. It's, ecologically friendly. Fine. Or if you just say, I like doing it and it's legal. Fine. But
Yeah.
you make some argument about, it's not that I enjoy it so much. I eat the meat. Fuck you.
I like the argument where it's just like none of your goddamn business. That's why I do it, because the law permits me to.
That would send me away too.
That's an argument.
I like doing it and
Yeah,
it's
you're
illegal.
like-
I'd be like, okay, I have no response to that. Kind of
It's
like you were
very-
saying when we were talking about, you were talking sales techniques, and you said I'm unsellable. If somebody said to me,
you can't. Yeah.
I like doing it, it's legal, that's unarguable. What am I going to say? No, you don't. No, you don't like it. I know I can get inside your head and actually really tell you what you do and don't like. And by the way, it's illegal. He didn't know there's a little known law that only I know of. And you can't do it anymore. Anyway.
By the way, yeah. Yeah. And if you've never done it, people out there, it's a very different experience, a different way to get your meat than if you're going to the store and buying it in a shrink wrapped styrofoam package. It's like,
It's
and
like
you
you
went
get
bird
to
hunting, which is very, very different. But
Yeah, I'm
like
sure.
if you shoot a deer, yeah. I mean, it's like the deer has like eyes, like they're this big. You know, you're looking at them like that. Kind of hurts, but at the end of the day, you start cutting them up. It's like it is just a piece of meat, but yeah, what you have to do to get that, like from the animal to the shrink wrap thing, it's not easy, but it's definitely worth it in the end. It's fun. Like there's a sense of reward and like connection almost to nature, even though you're killing something that's alive. Like you still feel like this is what you're born to do. Like go be a predator. It's kind of cool, but I don't know.
See, I can totally understand that, having shot the bird and
Yeah,
and had that feeling. I'm gonna dial myself down here.
yeah. You're like, this is top of the food chains type stuff.
Yeah,
But-
definitely.
Yeah.
Um, anyway,
Yeah.
I like guns.
So do I. What you were mentioning, I totally cut you off, and then we can get off of guns. The 1911 stuff. You said World War II, something World War One. The manufacturing of it.
Well, just that. So it came out in 1911 and became like a standard issue sidearm, basically with World War One. And then technologically, it hasn't changed. There have been a few minor improvements in manufacturing techniques have made it a better gun, but like mechanically, the design has, remained.
Yeah.
That's not the
And
case
that's what's
with.
great about.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's what's great about like. My point has a second point, so you can finish yours. But go ahead.
No, just there aren't a lot of things that are still made the way they were made over 100 years ago.
Yeah, and that's with guns. It seems like they found like first of all that as like a warfare platform for a pistol, like a handgun. That's a great platform. And then I believe with the advent of either the M16, I think it was. After the M16 came out, they tried to like perfect it even further, like get a better rifle. They got the M4. You get. I think that's like the peak of it. And they started doing all these military funded projects where government funded projects where they try to like make it even better. Like, let's do like an X2 and it's a gun with a higher parabolic arc, or it has a magazine in a bullpup fashion and all this stuff. And you can't beat that Armalite rifle platform. That AR platform is just like the best rifle. Like the way you can do it for that kind of mid to close range combat. Obviously, there's long range firearms that are much more. There's a lot of work to be done there. I know Barrett is doing a lot of cool stuff on the technology side of that stuff, but in terms of a economical military standard issue rifle, the M4 is going to be the best that you ever see. I think that's a very interesting thing, but
Is the M4 an M16? Essentially?
modified, sure, yeah. It's a smaller barrel. I believe it has a reduced weight, stuff like that, and collapsible stock, shit like that. But I think M4 is probably going to be. It's a fully automatic version of a more or less an AR-15. And the M16, you know about that? They had the third round burst. They did that to save money on bullets. Like, how funny is that? People were just. So they have it. You shoot 3 rounds at once instead, and you save money during the war.
And
Just on ammo.
accomplished basically the same thing.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But
Okay.
Uh,
Well, you said we're going to get off of guns.
there you go. Let's get off of it.
Now what?
Now what? Oh, I know something interesting I saw on the news just before we started this. So the Senate Democrats, I guess, voted down. Well, it doesn't make sense because the Republicans have a majority. So the Senate voted down to debate the possibility of a $1.4 trillion quote-unquote bailout, right, for industries or companies in America. and it would be a loan essentially that it's paid back over a certain period of time. And the argument of the Republican on the stand was that the Democrats voted this down because it's a bailout, and they don't want a bailout. They want they don't want the federal bailout. They don't want a government bailout. They want it to be pay backable. Now, I guess I'm just struggling to find the merit in that argument when you're like got some shit going on like this. The loan is fine, right? If you're giving them a loan to be paid back over a certain period of time.
Yeah, I don't totally follow that.
in
I
their
don't follow
jobs.
the logic there. If their argument is,
Well, that's yeah.
they will pass something. So even in the biggest shitstorm, in the last 70 years, there's got to be partisanship. I'm not privy to any detail, so
That's just what I was.
it just sounds like there's
And obviously
partisanship, there, which
yeah, there's partisanship in the explanation that I heard. So what it could be, a game of telephone, but it led me to this thought, which kind of scared me. Do you think? Well, I think that the Democrats would sabotage some sort of a plan that would be fully effective, just to damn the Trump administration and get him out of office come 2020. They can
I
say,
don't
"Hey,
think
we
so.
fucked this up big
I
time."
think that
Okay.
election history strongly suggests there's no way he can win now.
I would.
No
yeah, that's
sitting
what I would-
president
yeah.
that has had an economy go into a recession during his term has ever been reelected. And this is really, really so close. I mean, if we're lucky, we'll be coming out of this during the election, but it's still going to be, we'll be either on the backside or still deeply in a recession come the election. I'm not sure. I'm not sure you can overcome that.
I read Goldman Sachs economist analysis of the situation, predicting 3.4% total loss of American total GDP by the second quarter, and 12 to 24% unemployment. And I was like, hot damn.
That's a lot.
I think it's at 5 right now.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy.
One of the things I was thinking, and I'm a dog crazy, is I watched the morning news yesterday. Still a mistake. So this woman worked. She was or is a hairdresser, but she decided to stop working. I think Saturday was her last day, and I think she mentioned having a pet. But I thought of all the people who live check to check who have pets. How are they going to feed their pets? I don't want to feed their pets more than I want them to feed themselves.
That's funny. It's almost like when you have a homeless guy who has a dog. You're like, why is the dog with this guy? The dog could be better off on its own if it's just hunted.
Dogs are just
why
so
is the
loyal.
dog?
Dogs are so
Well,
loyal.
that is so crazy. Still, to me, blows my mind. That connection between man and dogs, but I don't know. It's wild. Literally. As far as I'm concerned, I think I heard that they started, instead of looking at monkeys in terms of human evolution and genetics and stuff like that, they started looking at dogs, because apparently we evolved together over the past 10,000 years. I want to look at how those two coincide, but anyway,
Excuse me.
off track. You're
Well,
excused.
They're all in their standard issue places, so they
good.
wonder why there's an empty seat. But Ricky's not climbing the tower today.
How much are those 50-pound bags of dog food? What's the cheapest you could get one if you needed it? 22
Not a lot of
bucks?
money. Probably, I don't know. Probably $20.
I was at Petco the other day and I saw $100 top. So
Well, Lucy has pancreatitis, so she eats a special low-fat food. So her food's like $100 a month. Which is
Yeah,
not
that's a lot.
cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the most expensive, prescription diet, canned food. That's on the high end. But I would say you could
Yeah.
feed a dog for probably $20 a month.
Yeah, that's easy. You could like do an Uber, like one Uber a month, and you're like, all right, good to go.
You know what? People aren't doing that right now. And I
Smart.
would
That's
imagine
good.
that, well, when they're not available, I know a guy who does it on the side. As orders get closer and closer and don't get claimed, so you have an app, and the orders come up, and you claim them. So you're like, oh, literally touch the order. I'll take this one. As they get more and more and more proximate to when they're supposed to be delivered, they start offering bonuses. It's like $5, and it might go to $10, it might go to $15 on top of the normal thing just to do it. So if it takes an hour, and I don't know, you could make like $30 an hour doing one delivery, or more if it takes less than an hour to do, plus the tip. And I would imagine in this climate, people are probably tipping very well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, tip your people. If you're not doing that, then you should do it more.
Yeah, if you got the money to give out, man, everybody needs to help everybody out. I was thinking of starting a GoFundMe page and and shaming Hollywood and doing a webcast or podcast rather, and put it on Facebook and pressure. I got a couple friends that are fairly connected out there. Get it out. Quadriplegic guy starts with $1,000 of his own money. That'd be a good headline.
$8.
To go. Say that again.
I said, and turns it into $8.
Turns $1,000 into $8.
Yeah.
I'm
You
lost.
could do that pretty quick, but yeah. I'm just saying it would be money wasted, but you're right. Whatever. It's like, what would you do with it?
There's going to be people who need money.
Yeah.
I was talking with somebody about Warren Buffett came up. And Warren Buffett has said how many times, how fucked up it is that he pays a lower marginal tax rate than his secretary. So I'm sure Warren Buffett pays quite a few people, tax attorneys and accountants, to make sure that rate is as low as it can be.
Yeah.
So why do the work? Why
Would you
dig
include
for the
that in the
deductions,
effective
you
tax rate?
hypocrite? Say that again.
I said, if you're doing the math, wouldn't you technically have to include that in the cost of like your taxes? You say, hey, I have to pay all these guys this
Yeah,
much
but
money to save that
my
much.
point is, just do it on
Yeah.
TurboTax and wind up paying more.
Yeah, if he's like,
You
it's
hypocrite.
a shame. Well, right, he's doing it. Yeah.
If you
No,
think you
that's-
don't pay
obviously there's
enough,
hypocrisy there.
then don't
Don't pay more.
employ professionals to make it low.
No, people-
And further, here's what I
th-
thought.
You can even. Go ahead.
Here's what I thought. On a tax form, on your tax return, there should be like a line at the bottom. Guilty rich person overpayment fund. And you check the box and you put an amount in, and maybe you even have 6, 8, 50, 100 different things it might go to.
Oh, you can like check.
Yeah, you could say, so
You're
here's
like
what
military.
you have to pay, right? This is your,
Entitlements. Yeah.
and then just do, and I want to overpay this amount, this gross amount, so I want to overpay by $1. Or Warren Buffett could raise his taxes all he freaking wanted, check the box, give $100 million to, and then, it could be,
NASA.
yeah, it could be space exploration
why not? Right.
programs, homeless, Me Too movement, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, but they'd
Again,
have
there
to be
could be, there could be
government programs, but yeah.
hundreds of things.
The
Why
wall.
not put that on there? And then people like him could shut the fuck up. And Hollywood could shut the fuck up. Because they'll say, hey, share your
Yeah.
tax return. Because you're getting up on the podium and telling guys
like
like
0.00. Yeah.
right,
Right.
telling politicians to make guys like me and soon guys like you pay more taxes when they're a bunch of fucking hypocrites.
The taxes
With
for-
I can
but,
find one exception. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey she's a hero. In
She gives
2016
back,
or 17, she gave $50 million to charity.
That's a fucking ton of money. It's more than
Two
I'll ever
point-
make in my entire life.
2.5% of her net worth.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a ton. Yeah, that is cool. And it's funny that you brought that up about the like check a box and donate. So this came up when Trump was trying to source funds for the wall, right? So people started getting together GoFundMe's and shit like that, like donating, and it raised like a ton of money. I want to say like millions of dollars. I don't know an exact figure, but more or less they got ready to donate it, right? And either I forget. Oh God. More or less, the story goes like this: the government says, "Hey, you can give us whatever money that you want. We're not going to put it towards something that you dictate. So, like, we're going to put it just in the general coffer, and it'll go towards what it go towards. Womp womp. So, like, you can give money to the government. They're not like you can write a check to the IRS. They'll take it. They'll take your money. They don't fucking care about that. But you can't like dictate where that goes, which is interesting.
Yeah, but
Like,
people
if you
are
could actually
lemmings.
determine what your tax dollars go towards.
But
Yeah.
people are lemmings, and they need to be led. So at the bottom of your return, right above where you sign, in big ass bold letters and huge font, I wish to overpay, or I wish to pay additional funds in the sum of, and again, and I wish it to be directed to, and you go to a form. Maybe there's
Yeah.
1,000 things you can pick, whatever. You can get real specific.
but-
There's a lot of need out there, right? And we get preached to all the fucking time by different people. And it would be a place, it would be a very easy mechanism, and it would be a place to put up or shut up.
I'm going to give you a book called How Do I Tax Thee? And it's about quote unquote hidden taxes. They're like shit like car registration fees or pet registration fees. Like when I got Rowdy, I think you have to register your dog with the city. And so when we got him, I think we put it in my name because I was 14 years old and you get like a discount or something. It's like $20 instead of $100.
That's
so
funny.
my dad, being the cheap Scot, is like, all right, Rowdy's your dog. So if he attacks someone, it's, you're sure enough, he did. So I'm just joking. But it's shit like that. It's like salt tax. Like fucking what? Gordy got all pissed off at me because I was getting upset about my brother. Was getting all annoyed with me because I was getting annoyed about the death tax, like an estate tax. What
He
is the
thinks
merit
it's-
to that?
He thinks it's right.
No, he thinks, why do you care about that? There's so much worse shit that goes on. And I'm like, you
So
can't just pick and
Was
choose.
he in
You have to have
favor of the
principles.
tax, or was he just
He was like, let it go.
aggravated that you had a position on it at all?
Well, my point is that if you're going to have principles, you need to apply them uniformly. Otherwise, what's the point? So it's like,
Are you talking along
That
the lines
falls
of
under-
like if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing? So if
no,
there's
it's
a
like
side
just stand for everything equally across the board. Don't like have, pick and choose type things. Like Warren Buffett being like, it's an abomination that I pay less taxes. Lower tax bracket. It's like you do that on purpose. I don't know. But if I were to
Well,
say,
not
the
entirely.
death tax is fine. No, you're right. No, it's not a perfect analogy, but if I'm opposed to, I just want to hear an explanation. Like, what's the justification for that? I even looked it up, and you know what it said? The historical justification for a death tax or an estate tax to generate more revenue. And I'm like, that's not an excuse. That's like it's like an infinite. It's like a paradox. Like, what's the point of this tax? To be a tax.
Well, it's an end. It's an ending without a story.
yes,
what it-
exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that ending without a story. And I was like, this is fucking bullshit. They're just taxing for the sake of taxation. It just drove me mad. That's
Well,
the first F-bomb in this show.
I've said a couple. I
Oh,
heard
never
myself
mind.
say a couple. Yeah, whatever. Let's just float more bonds to China. Right?
Just let it go. Yeah.
I don't know.
Have you looked up? Go ahead.
Our government essentially, the everyday analogy to the way our government finances itself is the person who gets credit cards. And then they
Yeah.
then they can't afford even the payments on the credit cards, so they get more credit cards. And that's essentially what we do with bonds.
Well, yeah. I mean, I pulled something up. This will be interesting for people to see at home. If you've ever looked at this, or if you haven't looked at this, it will blow your mind if you check in it on the morning, and then at night before you go to bed, you pull it up again. This is the U.S. national debt clock. I'm gonna just try to get it. I don't know if it'll show you. If it will focus. See that?
It's focused. Oh, yeah.
$23.5 trillion. And just look how it's going up.
Yep.
Like, how long does
Wow.
it take to get to $1 million? Wait on it. Like, that's $200,000 right
yeah,
there.
it takes like probably 20 seconds to go up by $1 million.
That's $500,000 right there. Shit like that drives me insane.
China buys our bonds, we buy their stuff. It's we're interdependent.
What happens if China gets wiped out or the United States defaults on their loans?
Or China says, "Fuck you, I don't want your bonds anymore," and fire sales them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and just drops the fucking yeah.
Well, if that happens, we're their biggest customer. They're fucked. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's this interdependent relationship. So, but I mean,
yeah.
I think they own, like, it's been a while, 50 or 60% of our debt. It's a lot. I mean, they're by far the biggest stakeholder.
It's approaching 24
Japan's high too. We buy their stuff. Buy our bonds. We'll buy your stuff.
You know, it's funny. I prefer the Japanese to the Chinese for whatever reason, even though we went to war with them. It's like still something more honorable about that society.
Well, they're not
It's the whole
communist.
communism thing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I mean, that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, I'll say number one on that list is communist. Yes, no. Okay, yeah.
At this
check
point
that
in
box.
time, Japan probably has them too. Open markets.
It's stupid not to.
What you
Sorry,
doing?
guys, I did it again. I have to plug in the computer again.
Oh,
Boom.
is it the same power
You're
supply on a computer you use?
No, I just have yours plugged in.
Ours. It's the
Ours.
show.
I'm gonna sell this computer and give you half of the profits.
It's the show. I'll remind you.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Look at that face. And that gigantic Italian nose. Oh, where am I?
Hey, come on over.
Oh, hey,
All right.
Chris. How's it going? No tequila
Um,
tonight?
I had a half of one. So that glass I use is if it's not quite or just over 1/8 of an inch to the top, it's 2 ounces. So I had an ounce.
Oh, so it's...
I had an ounce at 4 o'clock. Then I grabbed the dogs. One of the things, I dusted off my Northern Exposure, which is probably not familiar to you. An early 90s, won a lot of Emmys sitcom. Really good show. Or at least
I've heard of it.
for
I've
me.
never seen
Kind
it.
of timeless. Dusted it off, put them in, got with the dogs. Excuse me, and kind of half watched, half napped from 4:30 to 5:30. It was great.
I half napped, half hung out on the couch for pretty much the same period of time. Then I had to do something, but
I
was, like,
rarely
about to
do
fall
that.
asleep after lunch.
I need to do it more. It's really relaxing to just let yourself lay down and chill.
I don't have time.
Ricky laid on my chest.
Oh, that's
Boy
nice.
power.
Yeah,
Boy power. Yeah.
Ricky runs that house.
Yeah. But yeah, just a half tequila. Didn't want to get too tired. Just to take the edge off. But that was a few hours ago. So we were going to talk about other fun stuff, right? How far in are we?
We're 20 minutes out from an hour. 40 minutes
Wow,
in.
40
I don't know why I
minutes.
said it that way.
Let's do top
talk
three.
for
What are
20
your
minutes,
top
okay.
3 things that in no way would require you to be outside that you enjoy? Top two.
3 things. Top 2.
That you kind of consider like a
I-
hobby.
I still like guns. You don't really need to be outside to like enjoy your firearms. You like clean them up and like buy parts and stuff like that and tinker with them and shit like that. That's a lot of fun.
So how often would you do
I
something
enjoy.
like that?
Once a month, maybe. Like
Okay.
you can't do it that often if you're not shooting them, but you know
Right.
it's fun to.
Well, you could.
And now I just, yeah, and
You
like,
could strip
I
down to
used
your
be-
underwear and put guns all over the bed and roll around in them and clean them when they're already
You
clean.
get
and-
that. Well, what I did one time was I drained the pool out, and then I just like filled the pool up with guns, and then like dove into it like a Scrooge McDucky.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot of
apologize if
guns.
Sarcasm isn't apparent. Yeah. But yeah, that's one thing. I enjoy reading. I don't know. I enjoy just like the concept of debate in general, politics, argumentation, conversationalism. All that stuff is very interesting to me. Without having to go outside, I would say having these kinds of conversations is my favorite thing to do on the planet.
So this, for me, is
Yeah.
one of the things is this.
I was going to say
Both this
yeah.
itself, and I spent about an hour tinkering with learning the software more and fiddling with hardware, and there's cameras all over that people can't see. And it's fun.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah.
Stereo stuff,
Yeah, like
huge.
yeah, this is cool. Yeah. Stereo stuff. Gordy bought some insane fucking headphones. There's some I don't know, Koenig maybe. I don't know. Wait, what's the K that you have, the open ones that you like to wear when you're working out?
Those are Grados.
Oh,
Those are
Grados.
Grados. That's a small family company. No, they are
What's-
Grados. No, they're Grados. He and I talked about it. He has
Do you
a
have
super
another? Oh, they are.
super expensive. Are they aluminum or wood? The little barrel. Do you
They're
remember?
aluminum for sure.
Okay.
They're like 800s or something, 900s. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, but those are Grados. Those are really good, and
They're
they're literally
fucking
handmade, and those aluminum barrels are handmade on a lathe. I mean, they're not. It's a family company. I've called the guy, spoken to the father who started the company. They're in Brooklyn, New York, and it's him and like his 3 kids and like a secretary. And they make the headphones that I have are Bluetooth. And I called the
Yeah.
guy, and I knew it was a small company. I didn't know if I was going to get to talk to anybody or not. And I was giving him suggestions because these guys are still very hell-bent on staying in the shrinking market that is headphones that plug in. And I was asking the guy, are you going to come out with a next-gen wireless that had, and I forget, I think it was this lossless Bluetooth format. And he's like, I don't know what that stuff is. He goes, we came out with a wireless headphone. He said there was so much paperwork. We're not doing it again. I'm not doing that paperwork again for at least a couple of years. And I was trying to tell the guy,
That's
you have a
awesome.
great company. You're going to get lost.
Yeah.
You're going to get lost because these headphones are really, really good. And there's nothing else like them out there. These guys need to get
How much
bought.
are they?
They were $250.
What are they called? Grado 450s or something?
Mine are they're
What's
250s.
they're called?
I think they're E250s.
Gordy's,
And they sound very good. And they're comfortable.
Yeah. And they're open ear, which is odd. So it's like it sits on your skull instead of like covering your ear.
Right, they're on
But,
ear and they're open back.
Yeah. Yeah. So you
The
can hear
on ear
stuff when
can
you're
get a
listening
little
to it.
uncomfortable. I've been wearing them around a lot because like I'm on the
Yeah.
phone now that
'Cause
we're
you're locked
trapped.
in the house.
Um,
Quarantine.
But the open back is great because you can hear what's going on around you. You know, they only reduce sound around you by probably 10 or 20%.
Yeah. Gordy got hit. I don't know what the fuck they're called. 700, 800, whatever it is. It's the crazy edition. They have a wire.
Yeah.
And he's got some ridiculous stack, some kind of, or a DAC. I don't know what you call it. But it's all set up like a nice stereo, the whole like system on his desk, right? And like the one he got him, he's like, dude, he's texting me, right? Because I'm so far away that he can't call down the hall and tell me. So he's texting me like 2020. Come check these out. And I was like, yeah, whatever. They're fucking headphones. Who gives a shit, right? So 2 weeks go by, and then I'm like coming upstairs, and he's like, come check these out. Like, you never heard these. I was like, whatever. This is going to be a waste of my time. It changed my whole outlook on music, listening to these headphones. They were so good. I was hearing things and experiencing the music, songs that I've been listening to my entire life, that was so different and amazing. It like changed my outlook on life. I was like, this is what music really is. And people see this stuff and create it, and this is the way that it's supposed to be heard. Or like, this is the way that the guy, when he was writing it, visualized it or heard it in his head. It's amazing. It's a life changer.
So much goes into it. Even the way people sing. People can do things with their voice that, I am totally into that. I mean, they call it, being an audiophile. And yeah, there's so many people, they're just used to either listening to it, on their phone, which is unbelievable,
right,
or listening to it in earbuds, which are crappy, versus, I would say, those $250 headphones, they're like entry level, very good sound. But have you ever heard my speakers kind of turned up? It's just like good
the ones
speakers.
In the TV, the sunroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you call that? Yeah.
No, I just call it the family room.
The family room. Yeah.
But anyway,
Awesome family room.
I was at Best Buy, it's probably 5 years ago now, having a conversation with the sales guy, and he's like, you wouldn't believe how many kids come in, and all they've ever had are just the little, earpieces that come with
buds. Yeah.
your smartphone. Yeah. And at the time, everything was kind of wired then. And he was like, and this was just a regular Best Buy where they don't have the super duper high end stuff, but they had Klipsch. If you have Klipsch in your house, right?
Klipsch. My dad has a set of fucking gigantic Klipsch speakers.
Yeah, so
that haven't been turned
that
on
was the nicest speakers they had there. And they're like, what do you like to listen to? And he said, come here. And he put on, a song pretty loud on Klipsch speakers, and they're like, wow, we had no idea. There's certain speakers. I have test songs like Michael Jackson, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. In the middle of the song, when he kind of stops singing and there's it's just music, there's noise of this crowd that it's like almost like riotous or whatever. These voices screaming, yelling at each other, crowds of people that on a not good pair of speakers or headphones you don't hear. Just the stuff they produce and put in there, you don't hear it. In like, songs where I'm used to hearing the guitar player's fingers like squeak as they go up and down the strings on the guitar. Yeah. On a crappy pair of speakers, you don't hear that. I'm like, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, I know. Well, right. The thing that stuck out to me, the song "No Sympathy for the Devil" by the Rolling Stones?
Not sure.
Who's that by? No Sympathy for the Devil. I think it's by what the hell is it?
Okay, Google.
It's
Play No Sympathy by the Devil.
For the Devil.
For the Devil.
From the Devil.
Holt Vaughn. Come on.
Wait, what?
No Holt Vaughn.
What is it Sympathy for the Devil?
Yeah. I don't know.
By the Rolling. Wait, what?
Holt Vaughn. Oh, it's hooked up to my my headphones.
Yeah, it's by the Rolling Stones. It's called "Sympathy for the Devil." And
it says Holt Vaughn, whoever the fuck that is.
No, that's like a movie. It's called "Sympathy for the Devil" by the Rolling Stones, and it's like a Vietnam era song, whatever. No, that's not it. Holt Vaughn can suck it.
Huh.
So throughout the whole song, there's like bongo drums playing.
Okay.
Right, and I love that song. I've listened to that song since I probably heard it when I was in 7th grade or 6th grade for the first time. So,
You listen to that
listening
on
to
his
it just-
headphones?
on his headphones, and it was like you said, you can hear the squeaks of the guitar. I could hear, like, you could usually when I listen to it, you just hear the sound of the bongo drum. But when I listened to it on the headphones, it was like I could hear the dude's hands tapping on the bongo drum. It was like a whole different thing, and you might not think there's a huge difference, but it was crazy different.
Oh, there is. It's just Sympathy for the Devil by the Stones.
Sympathy, yeah, and some faith.
I don't know what this is.
Goes round St. Petersburg. It's the live version. When I saw it was a time. Yeah. Who killed Kennedy?
Song's not familiar to me. Yeah, there's like
It's a great song.
in the song Play That Funky Music, there is a wood block.
Right, boy.
There's a wood block that gets
yeah.
hit, just coming out of the right side. And on a crappy pair of speakers, it gets lost. On a good pair of speakers, not only do you know what imaging is?
You mean like mental imaging?
No, like from a pair of speakers.
No.
Like a really, really, really good pair of speakers has almost a three-dimensional quality to the sound, where if you close your
that's what I
eyes,
felt. Yeah.
you could literally
it-
you could physically put things in different places because you got two speakers and they're going back and forth pushing sound out, and you have
Yeah.
how many different things, two guitars, a bass, a drum, a singer, a tambourine, that are all competing for the use of that cone, right? And a crappy speaker's just going to go in and out, and half that shit's going to get lost. That's why,
Yeah.
right? You hear that wood block. When you can hear that wood block, you know that a song has good mid-range. But anyway, imaging is when you can close your eyes and you can physically separate all the stuff, and basically in your mind you could set up like a 3D stage, and you could, the vocalist's voice has such a, definite but also finite presence that you could place it somewhere, and you could place the guitar physically
distinct
and
physical
set up
presence in your surrounding. Right.
Yeah.
That's how I felt, and it was even funny. I even listened to songs by NWA, and from what I've heard, whatever, it's like, it's fine, it's good music, and like listening to it on those speakers, it was life changing. Like, you totally respect the people who make the music way more. It's like, it's so different.
Oh yeah, anybody
Yeah.
who's at all commercial, a lot of production goes into making that music,
It was
into getting
fascinating.
it to sound,
yeah.
exactly how they want. Shitloads. I mean, you've seen those,
Yeah.
like the little board that we have here for this thing. I mean, you've seen rooms where
Yeah.
the board just goes on for 6, 8, 10
Right.
feet, where they're just mixing
Right.
crazy amounts of stuff. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. So right. And I was gonna, break the bank on buying like a cool new gun. I don't know, like something stupid that I wouldn't need, like something ridiculous. But I might get a pair of awesome headphones or speakers. Like it's so different. Like right now, I'm rocking a pair of $40 wireless earbuds. So
I bought I bought a really good set of headphones, much better than those wireless ones. And headphones aren't my thing. There's a lot of people, headphones aren't their thing. I enjoy music a lot more coming out of speakers.
yeah.
But the sound you can get, the detail you can get out of headphones it's amazing. It's amazing.
Even this conversation that we're having on these semi, what I don't know what you say, mid quality headphones.
I'd say they're entry level, very good sound.
Yeah, and they're like, the conversation is very different. Like, just even hearing the sound of my own voice, which was hard to get used to when we first started. You remember that? It was like you and I both had to adjust to hearing yourself through your ears instead of just through your mouth. Which is
Yeah,
weird.
it's kind of like when you hear yourself on an answering machine, like the first time, and you're like, I don't sound like that. You don't like
Cops
it.
are outside my house.
Really?
Yeah,
With lights on?
they're gone. No.
Okay.
Cruising.
Um,
Just checking it out.
You guys behaving? I mean,
They
you
heard that
you
we were
know,
stocking
right?
up on the guns.
4 sets of microphones. I went to a lot of work to make sure that our voices got replicated the right way, and that we're
Oh
acoustically
yeah, it's
suitable
great.
in this room. These are
Yeah.
great mics, man. These are
And it's
great
helped.
mics.
Yeah, it's helped me realize that I have more nasal to my voice than I would like. But
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. I think the
maybe
same
that's just my
thing.
Michigan accent.
I
I think
think
it's a
it's just.
Michigan accent.
I just think you're not listening to yourself on headphones 99% of the time, and you just sound
Right.
different. In your head versus through the actual headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
after the
stuff.
fact, reading about podcasting, after I was pretty much done setting everything up, they were like what I suspected. The kiss of death is lousy sound. So
Yeah, shitty sound. You could do it on like a fucking the guy, Opie and Anthony.
yeah,
So like Anthony went his route and he's got like a studio, it's expensive gear, all that shit, the whole setup. I've been there, it's really cool. And then Opie did his thing like afterwards, and he did it on like it's like you connect a thing to your phone and then you're like, "So, what do you think about this?" And he's like that, and it just even that like makes you so fucking like it's like you're so amateur. Why are you using that shitty plug-in mic? I don't know.
yeah.
Oh, it's lame, but
Visually, I've thought, should we at some point go away from the headphones, which we could do. But
that mic
it's just
that I just returned to you today. Yeah.
say that again.
The mic that I just returned to you today, the one
Yeah.
that's like captures like the whole room.
Mm-hmm.
That one sounded great. I thought it was good,
It-
and it was like you didn't have to have this thing on your face. But yeah,
Right, right. But
right.
these are better. There's no doubt these are better. That was good. These are excellent. But if we could do that, and they could be, just sitting in front of us and not have these in our face. But I mean, this is what I think people expect for a podcast.
Yeah, and if you do, comment below. I realize we just went very behind the scenes talk for like the past 7 minutes. We're just talking
all right.
about stuff that you and me care about.
That's all right.
Yeah.
No, people are learning. No, it's good that we're not talking about all the other shit that's going on. Take a break
Death. Sorry.
from that. Yeah.
Get out of the way.
So what else for me? Tequila. Tequila's a hobby. Finding
it is.
different
And
tequilas.
weirdo.
I got that one tequila. Did I tell you, there's one tequila, Casa Noble, that I bought because I liked it in the store. And then I found at home. I was like, yeah, it's okay. And then I bought some cheese for over Christmas. And that tequila goes with good cheese way better than the other tequilas. It's like sit down, have a nice little piece of cheese, a little sip of tequila. It's just like a little
Here's where I'm confused.
goofy ritual. How are you confused?
Yeah. I thought so with cheese, quote unquote cheese, that's all cheese. What kind of cheese are you using here? I'm a
What
food
was best with
foodie
it
as
was
well, so
was a nice Gouda.
I knew you were gonna say that. Gouda. Gouda. It's so lame. There's so much more you could do with cheese. There's some awesome shit
Whatever.
out there. You gotta
Fine,
just
we'll go to the
widen your
cheese store
horizon.
together. Have you ever been to the Cheese Lady? That's so lame.
No.
Dude, I bought Gouda. I bought Gouda. I bought aged
fuck?
cheddar, and I bought whatever. There was somebody in the cheese area at Whole Foods, and she really knew her stuff. And I'm like, I'm just buying 3 different cheeses to, for one afternoon, I'm going to sit down over Christmas vacation and just, geek out eating cheese.
Yeah.
And those were her recommendations. So leave me
Oh,
alone.
really?
Yeah. And the
No.
Gouda was the best. It was
There's-
aged and, it had the little granules when it gets super old. And it was kind of had that crunchy texture, and it was fun to eat.
I shouldn't talk shit about Gouda. It's fine. It's not a bad cheese, but there's like a lot of cool shit that you could like. You ever had like a dill infused Havarti cheese? Like, oh, that's solid.
No.
It's good stuff. It's very different, but there's a lot you can do. I even got into like jams recently. Like I had like a jalapeno pepper jam jelly. Oh, so good. Like imagine the taste, the flavor of jalapeno without any heat. It was so amazing. It was like, this is fucking awesome.
Huh.
Stuff like that's cool. But
So what the hell would you put that on?
a cracker, or like a, not like a biscotti. What am I, like a, like a bruschetta type bread. What the fuck do you call that? Like a hard, I don't know, like a
Like a
crisp
baguette,
bread. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, something like that. It's good.
French bread,
Tastes
whatever. French bread, French fries, French
Frog
dressing.
bread.
That's from a movie, Better Off Dead, with John Cusack. It's a ski movie.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a total
Nice.
B movie. Have you seen that movie?
No, but I, whatever, would watch it if it was a ski movie, just for fun.
It's really bad. It's really, really bad. It's extremely low budget.
That's even
but-
better.
But his mom makes dinner, and she makes a French dinner. French bread, French fries, French dressing.
People are the worst. And isn't French dressing like Russian dressing? Like, is it different?
Yeah, it's different than Russian dressing, but whatever. I mean, it's just,
Is it? Oh,
yeah, it's a
Like a
little
little bit
spicier.
different.
It's tangy.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so funny. French fries, French bread, French fries. Those people are the worst. I call that, what is it? Unsophisticated, right? I think that's the literal definition.
Probably, yes. Could be a lot of things. Could be a lot of things.
Just took your joke and made it very literal. I apologize.
No, it's okay. Yeah, the flip side of that is we're being kind of snobby.
Yes, and that's
I
what the show
bought
is all
some
about.
fancy cheese, and then I paired it up with my tequila. Sat alone at my kitchen
the
table
cheese
with my
wasn't
little
fancy
cheese
enough.
board and cut little slices of cheese and had my little sip of tequila, and people would be like, dude, really?
It's the little things in life. Come on.
It was. I
can't
had a
respect
blast.
that-
I was all
Yeah.
by myself. I had something on TV that I was enjoying, and I sat there, and it made drinking my little tequila just that much more fun. A little ritual.
I think that is the shit that's going to get people through this pandemic. I was
Well,
going to say quarantine.
That goes back to where I said people need to have a thing or some things, and a lot of people don't. They don't.
I could totally get into woodworking, but right now my thing is work. 12 hours
Yeah.
a day, 6 days a week, and then
That takes a lot of patience. That is
well,
woodworking is a slow process.
it's fun. The thing is tools. Like if you have the right tools, you can do anything you want. You need like a nice set of files. I would recommend a needle rasp or just a regular rasp. Needle rasp is like one of the hardest things to find out there in the woodworking community because apparently nobody understands the importance of that. But yeah, rasp. I mean, a Dremel, you're just gonna fucking ruin the wood whenever you're doing. I would imagine some good sandpaper. You gotta understand that stuff. There's a lot of patience. You're right that goes into it, but it's a fun. Like I told you, I was making the handle for that old World War
That
II
knife.
that-
Yeah.
yeah, and I never like varnished it or anything like that, but it looks good. It's cool.
Did I ever show you, so version on a theme, the speakers that I made, like kind of half made in the bedroom on my desk?
You made speakers.
Yeah, I've made a lot of speakers throughout. My first set of speakers I made when I was 15. So what I did was Radio Shack used to make these old aluminum speakers, and they were decent for the money. And I like just the total robustness of this aluminum cabinet, which is a terrible thing to make a speaker cabinet out of, because traditionally speaker cabinets are made out of fiberboard, like medium density fiberboard, like a press board that you buy at Home Depot, because it dampens the waves within the speaker. You want the sound to
Yeah,
come
it's
out,
pliable.
not bounce around inside the speaker cabinet. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I got on this website that sells, hundreds, if not thousands, of speaker components. Married up a woofer and a tweeter, and literally designed and built the crossover for the thing. I'll show it to you. And on my experiment speaker, I sealed. So there's a woofer and a tweeter. I sealed it up and had the two. We are totally geeking out. People are going to find this really interesting, or like, oh my God, you guys. Anyway, I had the speaker,
People don't know
the
what
wires,
woofers or tweeters are.
the wires come out, and so I designed the first crossover and hooked it up, So it's on a desk and there's wires coming to it. And it didn't sound at all like I thought it would. So then I just bought different capacitors and inductors and tried them and then just dialed it in by ear. And wow, they sound good. For their size, they just sound phenomenal. And on the one, so I was just literally hot gluing these electrical components to cardboard through the test process. And I was like, you know what, this is pretty cool. So on the test speaker, I left the final product. So there's just wires like everywhere. It's like a rat's nest of wires coming off this thing. And the speaker leads are zip tied to it. So I just glued it to the back of the speaker. So if you turn it around, there's just this electronic mishmash of stuff. But it's my little trophy because I made 2 other sets. They were so good. So I got a set at work, and then I have a set that right now isn't doing anything. But they sound awesome. They sound absolutely awesome.
That is so unbelievably nerdy. I'm just joking. That's pretty cool. I don't know
It
how to
is
do that
nerdy.
shit. Like, well, whatever. It's fine. I was joking, but yeah, I think that's cool. I would like to do stuff like that. I just don't.
But like at a
know
low
how to do it.
to mid-level. So when I'm sitting at my computer, just surfing or reading or whatever, I have nice music right in front of me.
We're from different generations where you were taught, I believe, growing up or learned, just through the time, like how like basic electronics work. Whereas like I never learned like how a fucking circuit board works, or like, yeah, I understand electricity. I could probably explain to you with decent amount of confidence the difference between alternating current and direct current, but like I don't fucking like. I don't get it. At the end of the day, it doesn't make sense to me.
No, I think it's a geeky thing. I took electronics class in high school.
Oh, okay, you did. All right.
And it was there was one guy, one class, 5, 6 classes a day, whatever there was. And I tell you, I was in that class with a bunch of geeks. I mean, these were guys that were not
girls.
in any other class. There were no I don't remember a girl being in that class.
Good for her. She knew it was good for her.
So our
She'd been
final
in that class. Never mind.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say her life would have gone a very different course.
In the words of
Yeah.
Johnny Carson, a lot of pimply-faced freaks in that class.
Yeah, that's good.
But it was fun, man. It was fun. So yeah, you learned all that stuff, and I mean, there's knowledge. I've taken away from that class practical knowledge. I get a few Jeopardy questions every once in a while because of that class.
Let me ask you this: when you were a kid, did your dad like fix shit around the house with you, and like he'd be like,
No.
"Chris, this is how you do this"?
No,
Never.
no,
Did your mom do that with you?
no, no.
Did you
I
ever
was
do that with
this
anybody?
little like little savant guy.
Like an
Yeah, I'll
idiot
tell you a couple
savant
stories.
without
So
that pesky savant part.
The washing machine broke, and they called a repairman, and I'm curious. I'm like probably 10 or 11. And I'm like, how long, Mom, how long till, do you have to go without the washing machine? She's like, oh, I'll be here Tuesday or whatever. I'm like, fuck that. So I go there and I look, and there's like a seam,
Fuck that.
at the top of kind of the washer. So I just took a screwdriver, and I could have broken the thing. And I did this before. And I stuck it in there and just kind of pried it. And it just popped right up. And it was on a hinge.
Yeah.
And I lowered it up. And there was a motor and a little pulley and a belt. And then the drum. And the belt had just fallen off. So I just kind
that's
of...
easy as fuck.
It was easy
yeah.
as fuck, but you had to have... I mean, for 10 or 11 years old... there's a level
That's
of
impressive.
ambition there, right?
No,
and
I
I
agree.
climbed in, I
Yeah.
put the belt back on, I closed it up. I'm like, hey, Mom, your washer's fixed. And they didn't know what I did. I
She's
just
like-
all they know is Chris fixed the fucking... He's 10. He fixed the
You could have
washer.
been like, yeah, I resoldered the thing there,
Yeah,
and you're just putting stuff back away.
For all they knew, that's what happened. So it's funny.
What the fuck? Yeah.
My dad told me the story. I don't know. I was probably in my 20s. So he bought a boat, and he trailered the boat.
Mhm.
And it was a pretty heavy boat for a regular like sedan. He just had a sedan for work. He was in sales. A big enough boat that it was very taxing on those cars. He had to put transmission coolers and air shocks. And so when I was 16, he's like, all right, I'm going to buy a Bronco. And it's yours to use, but, you know, you got to do this and this and this. Keep your grades up and on and on. And he's like, we are buying the most Spartan, other than having the trailer pulling package, we're going to buy the most Spartan truck we can. Other than you get to pick the color. And we'll get the cool wheels. So it didn't. It had no radio in it. No radio. No, you can. I don't think you can't even get a car without a radio now. So there's just a center console, and it just said Bronco XLT. And
that's sweet.
I take the dash apart. Like my dad's out, and he's like, he is nervous as hell. I've got the inside of this thing torn apart. He comes out
Brand
one
new
day,
car.
and there was back then there were like antennas, like solid hardwire antennas. So I went
like,
to yeah, like a whip antenna. So I went to the electronics store. I bought the antenna for that car, and you have to buy. Do you know what a hole saw is?
It's a saw that cuts vertically, right?
Yeah,
like
and
in
it's
a-
like hollow
Yeah.
with little teeth.
Yeah.
So you have to put a hole in the sheet, you know, in the body of the car behind the hood on the cowl.
Right.
So you got to drill this to mount the antenna. There's like two plates that sandwich on either side. My dad comes out of the door into the garage right when I'm like, you know, sawing through the metal. And he's like, whoa! He shouts at me. He's like, what are you, I'm drilling a hole in the fucking car, you know?
In a fucking
What are you
car.
doing? I'm like, I'm putting the hole in for the antenna. And he like shakes his head and turns around. He's like, I can't watch this. You know, this brand new
He's like, I don't
car.
fucking care.
He comes out like an hour later, and there's an antenna on the car. You know, and I'm back in the car putting the radio in. It's funny.
Yeah.
He went to my brother, and he's like, man, he's like, Chris is made out of something. And he tells me, like, instead of telling me that when I'm 16 years old, he told me when I was like 25. He's like, I finally decided I had confidence in you when you were drilling a hole in the Bronco. And I came out an hour later, and there's an antenna there, and you're putting the radio in. Like, it took you
That's
10
funny.
years to fucking tell me that?
And then
Anyway.
his confidence was shattered when you drove that Bronco through the front wall of the 7-Eleven on the corner of Orchard and 13.
Yeah, something like that.
6 months later.
Something like that.
How long had you had that car when that happened?
A year and a couple months.
Oh, that's not so bad. That's pretty bad.
That's not so
That's
bad.
pretty bad.
Yeah, he drove through a building. That's not so bad. Car, well,
Nobody
at least
got hurt,
it was a
right?
year old. Nobody got hurt. The only thing other than minor cosmetic damage is the bumper got bent a little. It needed a new bumper. It didn't even crack the headlights.
That's freaking awesome. They don't make shit like that anymore.
No, they don't. No, but yeah. I mean, if you got into an accident, two of those cars got into accidents, no crumple zones. I mean, it went through a fucking building. Bricks over cinder blocks.
Yeah.
Two of those
And now
cars
it's
in a
glass 'cause
head-on.
The guy learned.
Yeah. Two of those
Yeah.
in a head-on, no crumple zones, no airbags. Bodies are going to be seriously displaced.
Yeah.
Yeah, because cars are built to
It's funny that
fold
you
now.
mentioned that about the car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like your Corvette, that wasn't even that shouldn't have been totaled, right? When you crashed it, the black one.
Well, because of the cost of repairing fiberglass,
Yeah.
they wanted to total it. No, it drove. It drove fine. There was no mechanical damage. I mean, I think it needed a new
Oh.
radiator. But it needed a new
that's
hood.
$200
It needed...
$140.
Say that again?
Radiator's what, $200, $140?
Yeah. But it
Yeah.
would have needed a new hood, a new front clip, 2 new fenders, and I think It has an actual bumper underneath. That car actually has a frame underneath all that fiberglass and plastic. And that would have had to been tweaked. And the blue book on the car was 22 grand or 20 grand.
And how much would it cost to fix it?
They wanted to total it, so
20.
whatever it cost to fix it,
Yeah.
yeah, they wouldn't have got their money out of fixing it, obviously.
So that was 20. Never mind.
That was what?
You paid 30 for that car, right? Cash?
35.
35.
35.
23.
I drove it
I could
for...
buy one of those.
Hmm?
Like, realistically, you could just buy one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, so I drove it for 4 years. That was a
Sweet
bummer.
car.
I like that car. I
took
really
that
like
car to
that
prom.
car. Yes, you did.
Yeah. And I didn't crash it, even though somebody cut me off.
Oh, really?
It was very close.
Never knew that.
Oh my
till
god! I think I
tonight.
told you about it.
No.
That I think. Does that happen a lot? Like, that car is so low to the ground. Like, do people just sometimes not see you?
On the freeway, lane changes were an issue for sure, especially the
Yeah.
black.
Because I wasn't even speeding. Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah,
speeding
no.
or anything, and the guy just was like, "Meh."
Trucks and SUVs do not see you. If you're in their blind spot, I mean, you're below their mirror.
So
I mean,
low to
you're-
the ground. Yeah.
You can't even see the blind spot. Even if you look like if
Yeah.
you look out the mirror, the top of the car is below the window, or out the window rather.
Right. And that's what I
Yes.
figured happened. The guy like cut me off, and I was like, "Fuck you." Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
then
just
I
don't see.
chipped my watch. Yeah, flipping the gaff. But yeah, it was a cool car.
With a great stereo.
Did you pull all that shit out before you scrapped it?
No, I wish I had those speakers. I built crossovers for those
Yeah.
speakers. I pulled the factory ones out, and it made such a huge. That was the best car stereo I'd ever heard, and I didn't even spend, relative to how it sounded, a lot of money. Never had a car stereo like that. That was awesome. It was awesome being in that car.
You had to have that car for more than 4 years.
I think I bought it in 20.
7
Could
or
have been
8 years.
5. Could have been 5. 2018. I bought it in 2013. Yeah, I think the accident. 5
Oh,
years.
okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
makes
5.
sense.
You know what? Yeah, it is 5 years because I had a 5-year loan and it was going to be. It was like a few months from being paid off, and I was
Damn.
psyched to have no car payment,
Yeah.
and that didn't happen.
How much was the car payment on that?
Little under $600.
I'm just thinking because I might even buy a car now. Apparently, GM, Chrysler, and Ford are hurting for business. 75% reduction in revenue. So I'm like, I could just buy a fucking, an SS Camaro, 7 years, 0% financing. Just go with that. That'd be awesome, right? But
0%. That's hard not to do.
for 7 years, yeah, they're offering.
Those
It'll
Camaros are
get
nice.
worse. You'll get better deals. Yeah, they are cool. But
I don't know. They're not going to
Yeah.
totally drop their doors. They need money.
Might get them to drop their doors anyway. You know my dad. That Challenger that I had was $125 a month. That was a lease. Like, sticker
Yeah,
price
who
$34,000.
do you have to thank for that?
Oh yeah, thank you for that. I've been thinking about coming to ask you for it again, but it's such a headache. I don't even know if it's worth doing. So
I asked him about that because
Um,
when your lease was up, I asked if he could get it
Yeah.
again, and they dialed him back. He used to get like 5 or 6
Oh,
a
really?
year. Now he gets like 2.
that's like 4. Oh, 2. Okay, see.
Yeah. So he was happy to give him out
Technically,
then.
you owe me one of those per year for the rest of my life. So
I do, huh?
yeah,
okay.
you committed to that. Yeah.
Huh. Sucks to be me.
No. Yeah. No, but the GM family finance shit is great. So whatever. We're getting off track. Do you?
Yeah, we're just having a
We've been on for an hour
conversation
and
now.
20 minutes.
Say that again?
Yeah. We've been on for an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, we got to wrap it up. It's
Yeah,
a school night.
Yeah, it is to be awake in 8 hours. So, let's end it on something fun and fruity. What do you got?
That's a lot of pressure. Gouda and tequila, man. Casa Noble and Gouda. Whatever. You bring the cheese. I'll provide the tequila, and you can school me. How's that?
I would. Okay, fair enough. Deal. I'll shake on it.
All right.
Good deal. Okay.
We've been chit-chatting the last 20 minutes. People are like, what the fuck?
Wait, I know how to end it perfectly.
Okay.
Was this a good episode? It's a lot of pressure.
You're emulating your guy.
It's not going. Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. Thank you. I can't show you, but it says yes, definitely. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you,
All right.
8-Ball.
Yep. Take it easy, people. Stay safe. Later.